Okay, and welcome back to the second part of this second part of our class, part two of part two. Let's go ahead and develop our course builder outline just a little bit more. Now you should have your 15 weeks laid out. So I'm going to go over here to course builder and I'm going to go ahead and populate one of my modules the way I want you to turn it into me as an example of what you're doing. So back to course builder. And you'll see that I haven't gotten my 15 done, but I'm the teacher, so I can get away with that. Let's go ahead and develop module tool. Now, here's what I would suggest you do, and this is the minimum you can do. And that is, first of all, start by building an outline. As I show you in the documentation, you have really three sections over here. The first part is the outline, which is putting in placeholders. So if I want to say simply, okay, I'm going to go ahead and create a document that is my objectives. My objectives are to spell. And then after that, I may want to have, I don't know, how about a video lecture? But I'm going to need to do that in a file. So video lecture. And when I finish that video lecture, I'm going to probably have everybody participate in a discussion. So we'll call this Chapter 2 Discussion. And you'll notice that I'm not putting notes in or anything. Those notes really are just for us as we're building things together to kind of keep track of what we're doing. So I've got a discussion, and let's just go ahead and do the whole 9 yards. I may want to then have a link to an external resource. So I'll go ahead and put that there. And you'll notice that I keep dragging over the module header. That keeps everything on the same level in the module. And I'll say link to external article. All right, that's enough. All right. So you see I'm building out a pretty nice thing here. And then I'm going to have them take a quiz, because that's what we do. And I'm going to call this a review quiz. And just to show that I can do it, finally they're going to have to put in a 3-page paper. Or a 2-page paper. Because that's what came up. Okay. So you see, this is what I want you to do. I want you to, of course, with a lot more thought than what I put into this, but I want you to create at least a ghost structure like this. Now, I also talk about how you add content. You can actually author here in Course Builder. So now that I've created an outline based upon my, based upon just what I want to lay out here, I can go down here to add content and drag these over these and start actually building content. So for instance, and I want to create an HTML file here, so if I simply drag this over the placeholder, I am now taken to an editing window, and it's going to actually create a document. So I'm going to say, just real quickly, these are my objectives, and I would list them as, say, a number list. 1, 2, 3. No, they're not very well formed learning objectives, but that's it. So I've created that. And you'll see that now this is turned into an actual document. It no longer has the dotted line around it. It has a solid line around it. The other thing is, if I go to content, it now exists. Whereas creating our modules adds them to this to the table of contents structure. Under module tool, you'll see that now I actually do have an objects document here. And if I click on that, we see the very profound learning objectives that I put in there. So that's how that works. Now the ghosts, the placeholders that we put in for the rest, are not here yet because they have no content. So the only one that has a real piece of content is showing here. So if I skip back to Course Builder, what I would want to do then is fill in all of the rest of these. And yes, you can put in just about anything you want. So the video here, I'll just leave that as it is for now. But a discussion. So I can take the discussion tool here. I can put it into the forum I want it to go into. So I'll just say that's a module discussion. I can give it a title, and this is section 2 talking. And then here I would want to put a description in because that tells students what to do. Say something interesting. And I don't know if I'm giving that. If I was going to grade it, which we'll talk about at a later time, I would add that here, but for now I won't. One of the things I like to set in discussions that users must start a thread before they can reply or read others. So I'll go ahead and just click that. We'll leave the rest of this for now, and I'll create it. And now I've created an honest to goodness discussion. And that discussion exists in content now. It also exists in our discussions area under activities, and you will see that, honest, it's there somewhere. There it is, right there. Section 2 talking. So I have a bunch of other discussions in here, but I just added this one. So you can actually author the class, not by going there, but by going here to Course Builder and adding things. Now, just real quickly, the last thing I want to talk to you about is that there's a third section here which is called Browse Tools. If you happen to be in a course that already has content in it, you can actually access it from here and drag those elements directly over into your course flow and make your course that way. So let's just real quickly, I haven't looked to see what I have here, but yes, of course I have stuff. So let's say that I want to use something from Module 2. I want to use the readings document. I can just simply take that existing document and either drag it over a existing placeholder and replace it, or in this case I'll just put it here right afterwards. So you see now I have objectives, I have M2 readings. If I don't like the name of Ed2 readings, I can edit the file and just call it Module 2 readings, and you see that the content is already here. So that's a page that I already had built in the course, and now I've just redirected it here. This actually is also in another place in the course, so you see you can use the same thing many times. So there we go. That's kind of what we're doing, and again in content I now see that there's my Module 2 readings, which comes after my objectives. And if I look real closely, I will see that I have indeed my discussion here. All right, so that's basically the flow of creating a module. So it doesn't take a lot of time to make it out of placeholders. Put some thought into it, and you might want to put in some content placeholders. Just say that learning objectives will go here or whatever you want to do. But that's the second part of your week's work, and I've talked long enough. So enjoy, and I will speak with you next week.